This is the Nikon FE. The Nikon FE is one of those classic SLR cameras. These can be found on the cheaper end of the Nikon SLR lineup. This particular model is the first model. You can tell because it doesn't have a badge, and the serial number just starts with FE. This is a great solidly built camera. They're not very sought after because the later models are seen to be more professional and maybe have more features than this camera. But there's a lot to like here, so let's get into it. So the Nikon FE is a 35mm SLR. It is electronically controlled, which means it does need a battery to operate. It takes two LR44 batteries in here. LR44 batteries are super common and super cheap, and they last such a long time, so there is no problem with that. This is your battery check indicator, and it glows when your battery is good to go. Batteries last months. Like seriously, they last months. If you're coming from digital cameras that your battery dies in a day, you will be happily surprised by the ability of these cameras to last so long. If your battery does run out, you have a couple of mechanical override settings that you can use. So at M90 setting, you can still fire the shutter at 1/90th of a second. You won't have a meter, but if you use your Sunny 16 rule, you're still in business, which is good. The shutter speeds range from 8 seconds all the way to 1/1000th of a second. The newer models don't have these very slow shutter speeds, but they do have faster shutter speeds, so that's kind of your give and take there. So if you're looking to do maybe more longer exposures, this might be a better choice for you. This is your shutter release. You can put a shutter cable in there if you so choose. This is your double exposure lever. So if you hold this back like this, as you advance, you see the frame counter does not advance. So you can do as many exposures as you'd like on the same frame. This camera has a nice function where it will turn off automatically when the film advance lever is pushed in all the way. This helps save on battery, but I find that when I'm putting the camera towards my eye, usually in portrait mode, and I might accidentally push this in. So that's something to consider there. The film advance is super sturdy, super smooth, very high quality stuff. Over on this side we have our exposure compensation dial that is adjusted by lifting this ring and moving the red indicator. On this side we have our ASA dial to let the meter know what speed film we're shooting. So since it's still 800, we'll go in at 800. Here's your film rewind crank. Has a nice little indicator to show you what direction to turn. This feels super solid. It also contains a nice little lock here. If this lock isn't moved to the left, you won't be able to accidentally open the back of the camera, which is a nice little touch. It's not maybe a make or break, but it's the little bits of this camera that make it an enjoyable experience to use. So here's the inside of the camera. It has a metal shutter, your very standard SLR. Your hot shoe mount for flashes. The viewfinder is really nice, really bright. It's not LED lit, unfortunately, so it's a bit harder to tell in the dark what shutter speed you're shooting at, but it's not a huge deal. It's just a nice to have, not a must have. The Nikon FE has a split prism system for focusing. You focus by lining up the image in the middle. The left window there will tell you what shutter speed the camera recommends and what shutter speed you are using. Over on the front, you have your depth of field preview, which is super sturdy. It's much nicer than the one on the Canon AE1 program, which is kind of this camera's Canon counterpart because they're both electronically controlled. So just to show that off, you press down this lever and the aperture blades come in. Here is your exposure lock and also your self timer. So to get the exposure lock, you press inwards. A note is that the light meter won't actually lock in place. It'll still keep moving, but the camera will know what shutter speed you chose, which is nice. This is especially handy when you're using aperture priority mode, which is the auto function up at the top. And to access the self timer, you extend it out like this, and you can hear it wind down just like that. Over on this side is your lens release and your flash sync port. On the bottom you have your connections for your auto winder, your film release button, and the battery and a tripod mount. This camera is great for people that want to use non-AI lenses. So let me show you. This is an AI lens. It's also autofocus capable, but it does work on these old cameras. So you just hold down that button, release, here's the inside. And the great thing about this camera, because it's an older model, it'll support non-AI lens compatibility. By pressing this button down, you'll be able to lift this lever. This lever indicates to the camera what aperture you're using when you're using an AI lens. This is a non-AI lens. You can tell because it's completely flat all the way around. There's no notch to hook onto that little latch that we saw earlier. So once this little latch is moved out of the way, you can mount the lens on no problem. One thing to note is that your meter won't know what aperture you're choosing. So what you'll have to do is bring down your depth of field preview to let the camera know how much light is actually going to be coming in during the exposure, which is not a huge deal when you can get really cheap non-AI glass that's still great quality. It's just that little trade-off there. It's also another note that the newer models of this camera does not have these features, so you can't mount non-AI lenses. So if you're on a budget, I definitely recommend the older Nikon FE. So that is the Nikon FE. It's a great little budget SLR. You can find these for usually between $100 and $150. It's great quality, all metal build. It's kind of part of Nikon's semi-professional lineup. It's a great lens lineup that is good to get invested in, because you can use a lot of these lenses on digital cameras. Highly recommend it. I think that's about it.